I'm Dr. Sanam Dillon, a primary care doctor and co-founder of Rockmelon, a skincare brand made for skin of color. And today we're answering the question, should you be avoiding chemical sunscreen, even if they're important for your skin? So let's break it down. How sunscreen actually works. Sunscreen protects your skin from ultraviolet rays. UVA ages your skin, breaks down your collagen, and is linked to some skin cancers. UVB causes sunburn and is the main driver for skin cancer and pigmentation, as it is more concentrated to the surface of the skin. There are two categories of sunscreen, as I mentioned. One's a mineral, so a physical blocker. These are things like zinc and titanium dioxide. These sit on the top of your skin and reflect UV rays. Think like a mirror that redirects the sun rays away from the skin. The chemical filters or chemical sunscreens contain ingredients like oxybenzone, avobenzone, which absorb UV rays and turn them into heat, like a sponge soaking up water. It has a small ability to reflect UV rays, but mainly absorbs the UV rays. Mineral sunscreens sit on the surface of your skin, acting as a barrier between the UV ray and the skin, and don't absorb into the body, particularly if they're non-nanoparticles. They're often less irritating, they're safer for sensitive skin, but unfortunately for darker skin, they leave a white cast most of the time. Chemical sunscreens are more lightweight, you might see them in more fluid forms, and they're invisible on the skin. They're easier to layer with makeup, and they're usually a lot less prone to white casting. But what's all the fuss about? Shouldn't I just be using a chemical sunscreen? Well, it turns out that some chemical sunscreen ingredients have had concerns about being possibly absorbed through the skin barrier and being able to be taken up into the bloodstream and have been found in the bloodstream. This could theoretically lead to possible interactions with our hormones and become endocrine disruptors, which is a serious thing. The second issue with chemical sunscreen, two particular sunscreens that have been banned in countries like Hawaii have been shown to bleach coral and have been shown to also disrupt the endocrine system of marine life. But let's take a deep dive into the hormonal imbalance or theoretical risk of being an endocrine disruptor. In 2025, luckily, Australia's TGA, which is equivalent to the FDA in America, they found that on balance of evidence, avobenzene and methyltriazone and PBSA were considered safe with very low to minimal absorption into the bloodstream and no toxicity. The best thing about this study is it was done in February of 2025. That's this year. So we have the most recent data to say which chemicals are good and which are under investigations. Go check out the study in the description below. It is so awesome because the TGA has done all the hard work in looking at what ingredients we need to watch out for. However, they did find concerns over the following: oxybenzone, octocrylene, octinoxate, and homosalate, citing that in some of these ingredients there was absorption into the bloodstream and with possible hormone disruption, particularly in animal studies. They were also found in breast milk. The TGA has classified these as monitor status. So, what does that mean? Well, I think the key message is that the TGA has rigorous testing as well as rigorous ways of monitoring the status of these chemical sunscreen. They have capped the concentrations of things like oxybenzone to 10% because they know at 9.9% it doesn't actually enter the bloodstream and disrupt hormones. Furthermore, there's not enough human data to suggest that they have long-term toxic effects. We need much, much more conclusive evidence of this. The key thing here is to understand that your skin still needs to be protected. So it's not that all sunscreens are bad for you. It's in fact that you are now aware, you're educated, and you can make an informed decision. For people in certain situations who, for example, are breastfeeding or for children, it may be an option for you to opt for a mineral sunscreen that has zinc or titanium to be able to not enter your bloodstream. And if you're a person who hates wearing sunscreen, but you've found one sunscreen that works for you and it might contain a chemical that is included in this list, you may think about changing over and trying something new, but you may also realize that this is the only sunscreen that you are able to use, because we know for a fact many studies have shown how damaging UV radiation is and UV rays are. So your protection against that is more important. The conclusion for me is that mineral sunscreens are inert and safe for all ages. Most chemical sunscreens are safe, but 4 filters require ongoing monitoring for further data and potential hormonal effects. So watch this space. I'll link them below. But the overarching key message is that wearing nothing is the greatest risk of all. If you want to know more about the impact of UV radiation, particularly for skin of color and how it's different, go check out our other videos.